If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have the time to fight. If I wake tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I fall asleep when I'm home.
Okay, sup, bitches! Welcome to the Halcyon podcast. I haven't done one of these in a couple of days, so I thought I'd fuck it, sit down and do one. There's not a lot going on tremendously in the world at the moment, it has to be argued, but nevertheless I think it's incumbent upon me to continue to produce content for content's sake, especially considering I've got a decent 25 subscribers, you jammy bastards. Thank you so much, everybody. Much appreciated. Keep liking and subscribing and sharing though, okay? Do me the favour. T-shirts, yay! Got a few of these and I'm wearing only one. I feel like I should be entitled to have a lot. I paid for them. Anyway, never mind. Podcast time. There's a couple of things. I'll start off with the easiest thing to talk about. Superbowl, baby! I was right. Told you. And I was saying to Brenny, who I watched the game with, it was amazing how the game went in terms of just how close it was to the end. I think the thing to take away from that was, with the NFL, it's a sport that sets itself apart because you can never write off a team. There are always strategies and ways that you can play the game. Even, I guess the difference in the two teams when it came down to it was the Falcons could score easily at first, made an impact, but then they struggled to do what they should have done, which is just kill the game off once they'd reached a 2-touchdown lead. 2-touchdown leads sometimes are insurmountable. It's a bit like the old 2-goal thing in football. Even if you're 2-0 up, that's when you're most vulnerable in a weird, kind of convoluted way. I think the interesting thing about the game was the fact that Tom Brady, at the beginning, had a terrible game, absolutely awful. But in the second half, the Patriots defense stepped up and made some big plays, which facilitated Brady having a bit more time in the pocket and allowed him to be able to make the game changing plays that he did. So if anyone didn't get a chance to watch it, unfortunately I may have spoiled the ending for you, in which case I apologise profusely. Not really. But if you get a chance, go and watch it. It's a fantastic game. Easily the best Super Bowl I've ever seen. It's absolutely magnificent. And more to the point, it wasn't a tremendously, even though that's the weird thing. It went into overtime, but in the third quarter, or toward the end of the third quarter, I just remember turning to Brenny, having had a few by this point, so, you know, time flies and everything, but the game seemed to have just gone super quick. I don't know how anyone else felt, but I just felt like the game had progressed so quickly, and it was a really good game. I can't rave enough about it. If you didn't watch it live, or you didn't get a chance to watch it live, I really feel sorry for you, because it really was that good. What else is going on? Because there's not much to talk about that's already not been talked about. I mean, I was right, and that's all I care about. So. It's not very often I make a sporting prediction. In terms of boxing and NFL, I'm usually pretty good when it comes to predictions. Wrestling, football, other sports, absolutely no idea. No, you couldn't pick a winner if you paid me a lot of money to sit down and analyse it. I'm going to make a couple of updates just on the channel, because over the last sort of few weeks I've made a few blinks, a few podcasts, which by and large are unscripted. They're not very hard to make. They take a bit of time to edit sometimes, especially if I get a few ideas for the show itself, like I want to add a clip in, or I want to take something out or change the narrative. A couple of games that I've bought recently to review, but I'm going to do them as thoroughly as I can, and I'm going to try and present them in a kind of very formalised format. So just so you guys know, the games are going to be Far Cry 4, which I'm currently playing through right now. It's a sweet game. It's devouring my life for Far Cry 4. Metal Gear Solid 5, which I'm again reliably informed by my good friend Michael Brennan that it is long, so I might have to save that one till last. Fallout 4, which I've kind of got through the intro and I've left the vault. I've got some impressions, and I'm probably going to do an impressions video on that, but as far as a full review, I don't know how long it will take me to complete because it's an RPG. So again, that might take a while. And the other one is Gears of War 4, which I did a Let's Play through, albeit a very short one. You'll be happy to know I've downloaded better software that will allow me to record for 30 minutes instead of 5 next time. So a Let's Play will be a proper length Let's Play instead of a summary. And I've also, like I said, I just need to complete Gears of War now. I think I'm about 2 or 3 acts left through the story. It would be so much better with co-op. I really do need to get some people in to help me review some of these games with a co-op. But the problem is, a lot of my friends, they've gone PS4, I'm on Xbox One, so we can't be friends anymore. I know, it's devastating. Anyway, those games will be coming out and being reviewed very, very shortly. There's going to be 2 shows that I'm going to work on fairly extensively because I think that they need to be, but they're not going to be reviews as such. One is going to be the return of the weekly show. I keep mentioning this. It's just I never sit. The weekly show, I want to have a formalised format. I want to have the desk. I want to have the tie and the jacket and the everything, and I want to have a really, really stylised format, which is the narrative of which is straightforward and good. But that takes time, and it also takes a certain frame of mind that doesn't always catch me. What else? And I'm also, because I tell you what, I had. This is where a lot of people are going to get turned off. I have debates with people all the time. I love debates, but I think the problem is that a lot of people they come into a debate with their opinion already made up, and that's not the point. If you're trying to argue your point, you can't ignore facts and you can't let your emotions dictate, because otherwise you are just being pig-headed. I think one of my great strengths when I'm debating people is that I'm able to concede arguments but counter. You can concede an argument but counter with something else. There's nothing wrong with that. So long as once you reach a conclusion you are amenable to amending your conclusion. A lot of people, I think, they look stupid, they feel like they look stupid, or that they lose a certain degree of face if they don't, if they admit that they were wrong, let's say, then all of a sudden they reckon they fucked up. And I don't believe that. I don't believe being wrong is a fundamental aspect of learning. You don't know something straight away. Oftentimes you have to experience something first, and then sort of come to grips with it later on. So on this particular occasion, I was debating with my mate, actually during the Superbowl, as a matter of fact, with regards to Arsenal and the plight that we're in at the moment in terms of Wenger, his position, whether or not it's tenable. Is he really as good as we believe him to be, or is he, is his time come and gone? So rather than argue the merits on an emotional level, which is what I have been doing, and it's problematic because the 2 gents that I was, not arguing with but debating with, it quickly escalated into a very impassioned debate, and I don't want that anymore. I want to be able to sit down with an Arsenal fan and say, look, I've looked into this shit. This isn't just my opinion based on what some football pundit has said or what the back page of a newspaper has said. I want to be able to give my opinion that shows, right, look at the facts. Don't look at the narrative that's been proposed to you. Don't look at the easy narrative that's thrown at you. I mean, I'll give you an example. With Arsenal, and this is kind of ubiquitous across things, it's become, for people that don't follow football, Arsenal have become known as a club that have boundless potential but continuously underachieve. And I think that's a fair comment. I don't take issue with that comment at all. The problem I have is that a lot of the arguments made they're based on a narrative that's been spun for the last couple of years, which is easy to spin because it's easy to kind of take evidence and point to that. But the problem with that is that you have to look at things in context, not just in the. It's like looking at an individual aspect of a vehicle without looking at everything else. So if you look at you look at an aspect of a vehicle that's failing, a car. So let's say, I don't know, your cam belts go in. And it's like, well, it's the cam belt's fault and all the rest of it. This is probably going to be a bad example because cam belts can go any moment. Anyway, digress. You don't look at the overall quality of the car. Do you look at is the rest of it's been maintained? Do you look if it's been driven the right way? Do you see the degradation of the car, how old it is? And my point with Arsenal is, yes, it's easy to point to the same ones, but then you've got to look at what everyone else is doing as well in context, because then you can adequately judge whether or not something is as good as or as bad as you say. And I don't want to get into it now because I'm going to get people throwing this at me. I'd much rather hammer it out, and I won't show you because it's going to be difficult to do that. But to give you an idea, the lengths that I'm going to on this one. It is going to be a podcast, but it's going to be presented in a very formalised way. I've got Arsenal, the transfer stats and manager statistics for each of what I consider to be the top 5 teams in the Prem over the last sort of 5 years. Now the thing is, I've included a couple of people that I don't think necessarily should be in there, but again I think it helps add layers of context into what Arsenal fans should take into consideration when making their decision. Now, and this is a big point that I want to raise right now, this is just my opinion, but it's formed on fact, and it's there not to try and assuage anyone else's opinion, but to maybe give them a different slant on the situation. Now, by the same token, if I reach the same conclusion and say, yeah, Wenger needs to fuck off, then at least then I'll have made that adequately. And it actually brings me on to another point I want to talk about in this podcast, because I see it a lot, and I really wish people would think for themselves just a little bit more. When you hear something, be it on the news or from a friend or whatever the case may be, the amount of times it's easy to just jump to a narrative without knowing the context of it is startling. And I think you always need to consider the motivations of the person. You always need to consider the motivations of the person it's about. And I would invite people to maybe take a step back with certain things. I think it's important not to react to certain things at certain times. It's also the reason why I try not to, I do reactions to stuff occasionally. I mean, I did a reaction to the Royal Rumble the other day, and this video from the Super Bowl isn't even really a reaction, but it's coming out, 4 days later? Because I think reacting to something straight away, yeah, it might be fun, and yeah, there might be heat in the moment, but you're probably going to make the wrong decision. You're probably going to make, I'll give you a weird fact. In the Middle Ages, in England, it was not against the law if you had a feud with someone to murder them. If you felt that they had impeached your dignity, or they had, what's the phrase? I can't remember, but it was a Simpsons episode where he slaps him, I challenge you to a duel, whatever it is. The law stated you could seek retribution. However, the law stated that you had to wait a week before you were able to enact it. Now, if at the end of that week you still felt that you needed to seek retribution, then you were allowed to pursue it. However, the reason why they implemented this, to some degree of success, obviously there's other mitigating factors here. This is just a kind of out of context fact, so don't take this as the whole of my argument. But the point is that at the end of that week, more often than not, the person had calmed down to the extent that maybe they were still a bit annoyed. But the fact is, they didn't then want to go mental anymore. And and trust me, with Arsenal, for instance, the amount of fans that I've seen react on YouTube, and indeed within my own social circle, who flip the fuck out when it comes to Wenger, is staggering. It's really quite amazing, and I felt victim to this at times. Sometimes watching Arsenal is the most infuriating thing. I mean, non-football fans, by the way, yeah, I get that it's boring and it kind of looks stupid and out of context, but I'm a fan of two things: wrestling and football. Now, in of themselves, yes, they're stupid and infantile and base, and they have a lot of problems, but football is immensely corrupt and backwards thinking a lot of the time. It takes, they're getting a pat on the back for integrating technology that's been available for 20 years. Whoop-de-doo. And wrestling, it's a violent melodrama that sometimes is a bit too cartoony for its own good, but I was raised on both. I have very vivid memories of both of those aspects from when I was a kid, so it kind of sticks with you. Nothing you can do about it. But in terms of the reactionary side of both, because actually both do also share a very hard reactionary streak. They both, people tend to go absolutely crazy when they see something or they don't see something. Man, I think I'll give my analysis, but here's what I think about things as a whole. And this is, social media has been a big hand in this. Sometimes you've got to just wait. You've just got to sit back and just let things play out. Enjoy it if you can. If you can't, just let it play out, because nothing lasts forever, man. In the case of Arsenal, Wenger will retire someday. They can't cryogenically freeze him and thaw him out for every game. And with WWE, again, Vince McMahon will inevitably pass the reins at some point. Which means that things will change there. In society as well, when people rant and rave, and I had a discussion with a good friend of mine, Chris Cooper, who runs a bike shop in the Vela House, called the Vela House. If you're ever in town centre, in Northampton town centre, and you're on Gold Street, and you don't go in to look at some of his bikes, potentially get some bike advice, pick up a few bits and bobs, make sure you buy something. He's too nice not to make you buy something, but buy something, get a cup of coffee with him, chat with him. He's a real cool dude. But I was sitting to him, chatting with him the other day, and we were talking about things on Facebook and how, you know, people overreact to things, or they find, you know, they're habitually offended by things. I wonder if anyone's actually sat back to think, well, how many times has anything like that actually affected anything? The only time I can think about anything like that actually affecting anything in a way that it didn't really get anything done beyond kind of, was when Mass Effect 3 came out and people went apeshit at BioWare for the endings that they got. And it's like, well, yeah, but all they did was put some cutscenes together and put them on the end. That's all they did. They did next to fuck all. But it took the collective voice of a gaming community that had been fervently loyal to its product and absolutely feverish with the anticipation of this game coming out. Me included. I booked a day off work to play it, same day, on the day it came out. And the disappointment and the reactionary side, and I can't lie, I was royally pissed off by that ending. I've made a video about it, and I talk about the ending for about 2 minutes. And by the way, I'm going to touch on this. Who the hell is still watching that video? Honest to God, I don't get it. Like, it's a bad video, guys, and why has it got 500 views? I mean, I'm not going to criticise you for watching it, but I'm just saying that I've made better videos since. Please watch some of the new shit. I'm begging you, because some of that shit's a lot better. It's better written, better produced. Anyway, I digress. With regards to the reactionary side of social media, I think people just need to calm. They need to just watch and observe and then make a decision once you've come to a reasonable conclusion based on observation, not just reaction and emotion. It happens too often these days where they think that their opinion will carry weight. And if you actually sit and think about it, whose opinion really does carry weight in this world? Not very many in terms of who can actually action anything. Yes, it's great to voice your opinion. Yes, it's great to lend your voice to something if it's going to affect change. But how many times does it actually do that? And that might sound slightly pessimistic, and maybe I'm missing an overall narrative. But when I sit back and look at things on Facebook, usually it's, can we share things to get some notice on something? But then, because social media by its very nature is fickle, it moves on to something else. Now, to affect change is not just to react to something and take a knee-jerk reaction to something. It involves, it's systematic change that's required for anything. Racism, bigotry, sexism, poverty, all of these things require concerted effort over a course of time to eradicate. Not just to, okay, we've dealt with that one particular issue, we can all feel better about ourselves, let's fuck off to the next thing. It just infuriates me when I see those things, and I've gotten to the point with Arsenal fans as well that I want to put something together that I know is as concrete as it possibly can be with the facts and figures that are available, plus the context that I've experienced as an Arsenal fan, supporting them over a number of years. You know, I'm not the most ardent Arsenal fan, I'll be the first to admit that. You know, but I've got my experiences and I'm entitled to my opinion. I also take issue with the people that it's what qualifies you to have an opinion. Well, I've got a mind. I might not be an expert on something, but I'm still allowed to form an opinion. Whether or not anyone else will base their opinions on that is their business. It's up to them. I think it's dangerous, quite frankly, for someone else to form their opinions based on what someone else believes. I think everyone should be entitled to their own beliefs. Everyone should think for themselves. It shouldn't be, well, he thinks that way and I support him, so I have to think how he thinks. Well, do you agree with everything he says? No. Well, then why can't you agree with some of what he says and disagree with others and form your opinion on those facts? It drives me nuts. You see it all the time. And it's the reason why I have a problem with a lot of these newspaper-fed narratives, because they might not necessarily agree with everything that's being said by the newspapers or the media or wherever, but they throw their weight behind it anyway. It just annoys me. Anyway, coming back to the original point of this fucking announcement, as far as the show is concerned, like I say, Those games will be released as full Halcyon, so they're going to be half an hour to an hour shows. They're going to be written cutscenes, hopefully a bit more information for consumers, because I think I've been dropping the ball when it comes to those, because I think the Halcyons aren't going to be tremendously entertaining, so they need to be informative. I think that's a given. The podcasts will continue like this. I like sitting down once a week and just doing a podcast. I sit in a sweet office now with all my shit. It's sweet. I like recording in here, especially when there's no one else around. I die when I have to record in front of somebody. This is the weird thing. If anyone ever tries doing something on YouTube and you can get over that original hump of recording in front of a camera and posting on YouTube, I'll be honest, that part's fine. That part's easy. When you've got someone else in here who can comment, do you know what? I have infinite respect now for people that perform in front of a live audience. Anyone that does it, even if I hate your guts as a band or as a musician or as an actor or whatever, do you know what? I've got to tip my hat to you for being able to perform in front of more than 2 people, because honest to God, 2 people in the house at a time, or 1 person or whatever it is, I can't do it. Freeze up. Oh my God, he might hear me. He might walk in and see me recording and then comment immediately. It's like, but you're going to put it on YouTube and then everyone in the world can have access to it. What's the fucking difference? Makes no sense, but it's a weird, it's the intangibility of YouTube versus the tactile nature of someone being able to poke his head in the door going, "That's shit," close the door and walk off. Anyway, so some of those shows will be released sort of as and when they're available, but I'll try and get them done 1 a week. I'll try and get a game done one a week, albeit Fallout's going to be really tough to get done in a week, so don't expect that one anytime soon. Again with Metal Gear Solid 5, so I might not be able to complete them, but I'll hopefully give you as overall idea of what my opinion of it is as I possibly can. Gears of War 4, same. Far Cry 4 I'll probably finish real soon. If I'm going to make a recommendation out of any of these games to go out and buy immediately, it's Far Cry 4. God damn, I love that game. It's just like, it's the old thing, it's Skyrim with guns and bears and tigers and hand gliders and grenade launchers. Do you know what my favourite thing is to do right now in Far Cry 4? My favourite thing is to arm myself with the one-handed shotgun and the grenade launcher and walk around, pretend I'm a Terminator and shit, just popping motherfuckers like this. It's so much fun. I love the grenade launcher so much, and I shouldn't have a pathological love for a grenade launcher, and it's indicative of where video games are compared to where they started. It's worrying that I have a fondness for a weapon, but never mind. I'm sure that will, that won't be brought up in a discussion at some point. Why can we trust your opinion? You once said you liked a grenade launcher, you freak. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. Anyway, also, potentially, I've got 2 people that want to come on the show. Now, I will be hesitant to say that they will be coming on the show until they're physically got in here and recorded. Why? Because the amount of times that I've gotten somebody over with the intent of recording and then they bottle it through no fault of their own, they just don't want to do it, it's countless. It's happened more times than not. So, I will say that for now, there will be no guest appearances on the show. I'd really love to get Rob back, and Brenny, and Ryan, and other Rob, but it's looking like it's going to be me right now. So, what I'm inviting you guys to do is and if you've made it this far into the podcast, congratulations. What I'd like you to do is give me more of an inkling as to the style of show that you want to see. If my blinks have been hitting the spot and I've actually been kind of funny, I don't know, they make me laugh, that's why I make them, then great. Let me know so I can try and aim those blinks at a more comedic aspect on a more regular basis, because some of them I do try to come out from an informative standpoint, but then other times I like just making fun of something. The Razor reviews, if you want to see more playthroughs as the Razor reviews and just like, I'll just do a half an hour playthrough of something, then cool, let me know. I'm more than happy to sit and film myself playing a game for half an hour. It's easy, and I would watch it, but a sign from God, don't do the Razor reviews as playthroughs. Got it, people. Jesus Christ, what the fuck happened there? Oh well, at least my candle's okay. So yeah, as far as the Razor reviews are concerned, I'm thinking about doing them more as playthroughs, but I don't know how popular playthroughs are these days. A lot of people do them and they're very, very easy to do. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. So I'm just giving it a second. You gonna behave? Sweet. So yeah, as far as the race reviews are concerned, I might continue to do those as sort of 5-10 minute bits, but you know, if I want to use that as enough, I don't really need to do playthroughs like I did with Brunny, for instance. That, you know, that video was quite popular, so if you want to see more playthroughs, let me know. I'm happy to do those. And coming back to the original point, the Halcyons aren't really going to change. That's my baby. I want to do the Halcyons that way. And in terms of the weekly show that I've teased a little bit earlier on, that one's going to be talking about the Trump Brexit thing. I've teased it twice in the past, and I've responded to a comment in my comment section discussing that. I want that one to be really slick and really sweet. So that one might take some time to come out, but the podcast will remain the same. Top 5 lists. I do have a couple recorded, but as far as top 5s are concerned, I think it's tricky to pick some that people will gravitate to, because I've kind of done everything I'm passionate about. I've recorded 3 more. I'll tell you what they are. So in terms of top 5 lists, the ones I've still got to do, top 10. Top 10 lists. I bet you're all excited for that. Top 10 badasses in gaming. That one was going to be fun to record. I haven't got around to doing it yet. Top 5 favourite Arsenal players, and top 5 feels in gaming. So when the shit gets real, I guess. So those will be released sort of as and when I can source the material and edit them, because they're all filmed. And it's the same with a lot of the blinks. I tend to film the blinks and the top 5s in bulk. So I usually have 5 or 6 episodes of those filmed, just ready to edit and go whenever I can. It's just whether or not I have the time, or if I think the episode is going to be strong enough to put up. Because believe it or not, I think, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I watch a lot of YouTube, and I do watch a lot of other YouTubers, and the lack of effort put in by other YouTubers is staggering. I get that you can get away with it because you've got people that are invested in your personality and you can do whatever the fuck you want, and that's fine if it's an expression of what you want to do. But I still think it's incumbent on you to put in some effort to make it stand out in some way. You can't just have your face. The amount of YouTube, if you go right now, as a matter of fact, do this. Pause this video and go into or if you can swipe it down and move it into the corner. Go into the trending section and look at how many, it's just faces of YouTubers saying, this is what I did today. Right, okay. Now, I want you to remember that 10-15 years ago there were 2 films made called Ed TV and The Truman Show, which focused around the idea of following a single person around through their daily lives. And it's a cute idea, but that's never going to happen because it's ridiculous. That's what fucking people do these days. All they do is film themselves going about their fucking days. How is that fucking remarkable and interesting? And more to the point, why do you want people out there right now, right here? Do you know what? Fuck it. I've got 2 minutes, and I'm going to use these wisely. Rants! Everyone loves a fucking rant. People, why do you want to waste your life watching what other fucking people are doing with theirs? Living vicariously through another person, it can work in spurts. It can inspire you and entice you into trying something new or doing something different. But you shouldn't spend your goddamn life following around other people. Number one, it's stalking. Number one, it's fucking freaky as fuck. Why are you stalking people on Snapchat and Instagram and or Facebook or whatever? Go and live your life. If you want to share aspects of that, that's fine. But at least make it fucking interesting. I occasionally share things on Facebook, but it's to do with the show. I want to promote the show. I want people to watch, so I have to share. I occasionally share pictures of my daughter or updates on how I'm doing with her. Or a quip, or something about a comment on something. I want to add something to a narrative. Not, hey, check me out. I'm in the barber getting a haircut. Duck face. How interesting is that? What does that add to anyone's life other than, yeah, that's a really good duck face? Pointless, stupid, and annoying. Stop it! It drives me nuts. And the fact is that we're now in an age where people will do this habitually, and they don't add anything to anyone's life apart from, someone like, oh my god, I should live. And that's the other thing. They take that and then apply that to their own life. So this is how I should live. So the fucking fashion trends, things of that nature. Fuck's sake, man. I'm sitting here with what are these called again? Loom band wrist bracelets that my little brothers and sisters made me, a t-shirt I designed myself, a beanie hat that's 10 years out of style, glasses that don't fit my face, and a chain that used to have a Linkin Park dog tag on it, but that I lost, but I kept the chain. Why? Because I like all this shit. I think it's cool. Do you think I not going to walk down any runway anytime soon and be applauded. Oh my God, he looks so fashionable. No, but who gives a fuck? I'm doing shit my way, and I would implore you all, every single one of you out there right now, to do your own shit. Stop looking at what everyone else is doing. Stop looking at what you think they embody or what makes them cool. Fine, if they want to do that, let them do that. But stop modelling your life and your aspirations of what everyone else is doing. Look at what you want to do. Fuck, man, this YouTube channel is what I want to do, okay? And I keep using it as the example because not many people watch. The 25 of you that are subscribed, I fucking love you all to pieces. Absolutely adore you for taking the time to click that subscribe button and the occasional like or the occasional share. Any one of you that's watched this out of idle curiosity, fucking love you too. Thank you so much for taking the time to just click. Even if you watched for 30 seconds and got bored like I do with some YouTube channels and you fucked up to something else, thank you so much. But I would never ask someone to start a YouTube channel and model it after mine just because they thought lawn was cool. I'd want them to go, I want to start a YouTube channel, but I want to do something else. Or not even that, I want to start my own business because I thought it was a cool idea to go and do this. That's what I want people to do. And if that can be inspired through me, or if that can be inspired by anyone else to go and do your own thing and become a success, or even just be happy, fine. And I get people, and this is a counter argument, I'll undermine my argument, say, well, more people are happy doing that, and that makes them happy. Okay, I suppose fine, but I think that's dangerous. I think you should always look to yourself to decide what you want before you look to other people to sort of go, he looks like he's having fun, he looks like he's super popular or super hot, I think I'll copy what he's doing. Nah, man, you've got to find your own way. You've got to find your own style. That's just my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, that's enough of a rant. I've been going for half an hour now, so I think I'll call that a day. So thank you very much for listening and watching the podcast. If you have, I've been recording them. You can listen to them if you want, albeit, if you want to watch, I put little graphics around here now to try and make it look half decent, and then I've actually tried. So thank you very much for watching. Please like or dislike, share, subscribe. Stay tuned. More of the blinks are coming. I think I've got 2 more blinks. 1, 2. Yeah, I've got 2 more blinks that I just haven't edited, so they'll be releasing in the next day or 2. Hopefully we'll get some guests, but I'm not promising anything, so we'll see what happens in terms of podcasts or show appearances. Reviews are coming, and then after those games have been reviewed, then we'll look to the future. We'll see what else there is to do. So stay tuned. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care.